race fans. Sirius 162, XM 207, Sports Zone 999. You're listening to Sirius XM online and at our website, stevebyk.com. This cord is, I don't know why this cord, it's getting caught on something. I can't figure it out. It's like my head's being tugged off to the left. Last day here on the West Coast. Start to work our way back east toward the Christmas, New Year's break. And we'll come to you from Remington Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A little bit of a different, it's actually a little, there's a little tinged with sadness here. The table I've been using the last couple of years, right on the first level, as you go into those little boxes. For those of you that know Clocker's Corner, and there are a couple of guys that hanging out there this morning. So instead, I sat down at that table in the corner that is no longer the home for the guy I knew best was Barry Abrams. But in fact, I got to go find that watercolor picture that's so sweet. That you had Barry and Warren Studi and it's been a while. I'm trying to think of who else that basically held court here for years, and one by one passed, and really sad. In fact, and even somebody that there wasn't universal acclaim for. The security guy asked me this morning. He said, "I saw you yesterday. You've been here before." And I said, "You're doing radio?" Yes, yeah. He said, "Does Roger Stein still do a show?" And I think I only ever talked to Roger maybe twice, and Roger sure did. And I thought to myself, I said to him, "Roger's gone. He died maybe 6-8 years ago." And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was 6 years ago. And the thing I didn't really realize, he was 65, Roger Stein. But really, you come here, the legacy. John Sheriffs is going to join us at the midway break, and there's so many that were legendary horsemen and characters, right? That's a huge part of it. So anyway, it's different sitting where I set up today is sort of a little tinged with sadness, to be honest. The overnight news and some of the things from yesterday, we talked to Bob Hess about Roll On Big Joe's win, and later yesterday afternoon, coming out of that race, out of the Ring the Bell, the news came that Skelly was being retired, and good for them. The Red Lane Thoroughbred team, Chris Hicks, John Sellers, their bloodstock guy, Frank Aloso, and of course, the Asmussen team, and they had all agreed that if it was looking like Skelly, didn't want to do it anymore, or just even not sour, but just lost a step. Just just that little edge off the fastball. Probably could find spots or they obviously weren't going to even consider dropping him down or anything in terms of competition level. When I'm meaning claiming. So he's going to go back to Joe Pickerel's place in Ocala. They're going to see what he might want to be a pony, might want to. Who knows? There's a job for every horse, and I could also tell from their comments that if he doesn't want to do a job, they're quite content to let him romp around a field too in Ocala and be a lawn ornament as we like to kid. In fact, I just want to reach for. Give me a second to pull out. There it is, Oaklawn, to pull out the charts from Saturday. So I've got the accurate. There it is. He was beaten 6 lengths, hardly disgraced. But if he wasn't going to run big at Oaklawn, well, that's a little bit of a tell. And what's amazing, actually, as recently as May, this shows you. I mean, he's going to be 7, and he was a May foal, so he was kind of a not that he was a late developer, but there was that buildup. As recently as May, in the Lake Hamilton, he ran a career best 110 buyer, and then tried the Aristides, not so good. Got a little bit of a freshening through the summer. Came back in the Louisville Thoroughbred, in that Ben Tornado. That ran into a buzzsaw, obviously, in Ben Tornado, and then didn't run great in the Phoenix. He was third in the Louisville, but soundly beaten in the Phoenix, and then here, really never got involved, to be honest. So they made the decision. Good for them. Career numbers, and the next time we talk to Steve Asmussen, we'll certainly let Steve talk about him. 25 starts, 12 wins. He going into Saturday, 12-7-1 in 24 starts. So he had been in the exacta 19 of 24 starts. How about that? 19 of 24. And at Oaklawn, 10 of his 12 wins. 10 of his 12 wins. Yeah, they see he was special. They had a lot of fun with him. They count fleets and Breeders' Cup trip, even though that wasn't a fruitful, productive effort behind Straight No Chaser and Ben Tornado. But they had a lot of fun, and he was from the first crop of Practical Joke, and according to the little article about the retirement. That was one of the things that attracted Frank Alosa to him, and he RNA'd. He could have changed hands, but they wanted real money for him, and so he was bought back, and they campaigned him, and obviously it worked out all right, right? Piece of news that we're going to go. I think we're going to get Gary Palmisano here momentarily, and the news from Virginia, and they're going to that expansion. They're going to keep adding dates, and better get used to this. I'll let Gary fill in the blanks. But their calendar is tied by statute based on the machinery, based on the HHR equipment, and so the more parlors that get open, and as the gaming expands in Virginia, so will the dates. Yeah, so we'll have Gary here in a minute and start the morning. So there's that news, and I even though he had broke the news last week with us, I suppose everybody saw the press release from Sam Houston. I'm going to have to kid Nick on Friday. I wonder if because he's doing publicity, he, as part of his job descriptions, but the headlines read Tamaro to oversee player development at Sam Houston, so he's incorporating that into his into his repertoire, and so track announcer. He's recruiting horses for the stakes program for the Ladies Classic card, and then this player development title added as well. So congratulations to Nick, and the news came on his birthday, and you saw there's so many people who have gotten to know Nick over the last 15 years, basically, give or take, and I understand what a productive and positive influence he is around the game, and he's been looking forward to this, to making this a full-time. He was in the, if you didn't realize, he was in the personnel services staffing, temps and placement recruiters, and he was in that field for as long as I've known him. But he was waiting for an opportunity to move full time into the game. And there's a message here. We just came, of course, last week from Arizona, where there's students of all ages, not just at Arizona, but at Midway and at UK and at Louisville. There's programs in every discipline, essentially, that could lead to work in this game and in this sport. So, and then there's ways to shoehorn yourself in. There's so many different avenues. So this was something that Nick was hoping for this whole early portion of his professional life. So congratulations to Nick. And of course, I posted and on his birthday, the famous 12/15. So Nick Tamaro. All right, Gary is going to join us. We'll talk to Mig at the top of the hour. We've got a couple of trainer visits to look forward to. Already told you, Sheriffs start the second half of the morning. Always fun to talk to John out here. Pat Devereaux, who I promised yesterday, I wanted to get Pat. It looks, in fact, we got two 2-year-old conversations to have, because Petey Miller is also going to visit. He's down at, I assume he's down at San Luis Rey. I guess he could be at Oakland, but I think he's at San Luis Rey. He popped with that opening day on Friday, the Advent steak, right? He got the meat off. In fact, what I say yesterday, he won a pair to get the season started. So Petey Miller, to talk about with Dirty Rich and Pat Devereaux, and we'll talk about the baby that won the Lassie at Fairgrounds. Speaking of Fairgrounds, and Little Miss Curlin, by the way. Speaking of Fairgrounds, Gary Palmisano Jr., who knows Pat Devereaux his whole life.
How are you, Mr. Byk?
I'm good. waiting to talk to you. And I hinted at the Colonial news yesterday and the date expansion. Got a couple of other. It's kind of a year-end opportunity to kind of summarize everything that's gone on. The Turfway, the Turfway. I'm very curious what you're doing on Sunday with Turfway. If it's going to be a night card or if you're going to run in the afternoon. So let's talk about Colonial first and foremost.
Yeah, no, back for more next year in Virginia. We had the commission meeting yesterday to approve racing dates. The season will start off again with 3 days in March 12th, 13th, and 14th, with the 14th highlighted again by the Virginia Derby and the Virginia Oaks, obviously coming off a successful debut last year. So really looking forward to continuing to expand those races in that weekend. And then, as you mentioned, the 48-day calendar up from 44 days prior year, starting a little earlier this year, starting the last weekend in June and ending Labor Day weekend. So looking forward to another summer at Colonial. I think the big couple of schedule changes on the Colonial end. Last year we went Wednesday through Saturday. This year we're going to go Thursday through Sunday. And, I see a lot of chatter online about, why doesn't Colonial run during the week? It was so good when it was a weekday track. When we purchased Colonial Downs, the very first Virginia Racing Commission meeting I attended, we were told by the commission that people in Virginia want to see horse racing, and they can't do that on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So they challenged us to move to the weekends and put together events for families and kids and things that will draw people out to the racetrack to enjoy thoroughbred racing in Virginia. So that is what we have tried to do. We've tinkered with Friday nights and are now just going to go with a consistent afternoon post and add Sundays to continue to ensure that Virginians get the opportunity to come out to Colonial and see what's going on there.
Hey, Gary, a couple of questions, and the dates that are tied to the HHR machinery and any further expansion of gaming parlors around the state. As this grows, and is there a schedule or a projected schedule of the expansion? And you and I have talked the last couple of years, and with Frank as well, with Frank Hopf and Debbie Easter and the Virginia Equine Alliance people, about how the calendar may morph and the potential, in fact, for even a second meet at certainly Virginia, from a weather standpoint and temperate element, a fall meet, expanded spring dates. Where does all this fit in the Mid-Atlantic plan? Talk a little bit about where you see this going, in the intermediate and long term.
Yeah, so good question. It's something we think a lot about here. I think we kind of had a whole bunch of stuff up on the whiteboard, over the past few years, but the relationship with Maryland right now and them taking 2 months off is obviously a pretty good thing for everyone. So I don't know that I would see a drastic change in the calendar in the next, short term. Obviously, what happens in Maryland will dictate a lot of that. I don't know a whole lot about, really what's going on there other than reading the industry trades, but I know that, going down to Pimlico, one track, harder on turf courses, things like that. So, what their calendar does might dictate a little bit of what happens in Colonial, and that being because we have a good working relationship and we have an open dialogue and we're constantly talking about ways to make this more of a mid-Atlantic circuit. So no definitive answer as to where this goes other than, we're going to keep, focused on making the Colonial product the best it can be, and kind of following the way of the world in the Mid-Atlantic and making sure we're all working together.
Hey, one last question before we talk about the rest of the CDI circuitry, fairgrounds rolling along already now, and we'll talk about Turfway and the rescheduled Sunday card, which will be mid-afternoon into early evening, which is going to be, it should be a blockbuster when we talk about it. And then of course Churchill itself. One state I did not really seek out in the report of Mayor's Bread. We've heard anecdotally that there's been so many mayors domiciled in Virginia, and so many farms being utilized. How much growth has there been that you guys have seen, and the potential for the Virginia? Well, there's the certification races, but how much more Virginia bred program do you see as part of as part of the condition books?
Yeah, good question again. There's two variations of races in Virginia. There's the Virginia Certified program, which I commend Debbie and the team there. That was an incredible sort of stopgap for what they were trying to do.
Yep.
When they were taking Colonial Downs, which had been shuttered for years, and trying to revive it. That program was a great way to have horses reside in Virginia for a 6-month period and participate in opportunities restricted to these certified horses. So I think the last time I talked to Debbie, there's almost 6,000 horses now registered in the certified program. And one of the things we work together on, just for horsemen out there listening, if you go to Equibase and you pull up your horse's name. So, for example, Mindframe is one horse that many people don't know, was Virginia certified. So if you go to Equibase and you pull up Mindframe, there's a big red button there that denotes him as Virginia certified. And what we see a lot of times is people claim horses or they buy them at a sale or whatever. They don't even know they have this opportunity at Colonial to participate in these certified races. So we do a big outreach campaign in April and let people know that they're eligible and things like that. But I would encourage horsemen to take a look at that. I think in the March meeting, maiden special weight Virginia certified is a $93,000 pot. So there's plenty enough reason to take 5 minutes to just see if some of your horses are Virginia certified. And then on the other hand, there's Virginia bred programs, which you mentioned, and their breeding program was sort of at rock bottom there. Obviously, we just talked about they ceased racing in Virginia for a number of years. So they had around 100 foals born a couple of years ago, and I think they're creeping up to 150 or so this year. So obviously, that's a big percentage gain, not a huge overall total gain for the foal crop, but what we're seeing is the fruits of their labor pay off, and that more people are participating in these different programs in Virginia.
Nice. Yeah, the certification thing was just brilliant. I mean, it's amazing, and the amount of horses that are sent to Virginia for the 6-month domiciling and to get certified, and what it means. Mailbox money, as they call it, that shows up. And of course, you mentioned Mindframe and the late Larry Johnson.
Yep.
One of the big names that we have lost in the last couple of years that has been taken way too early. From the family is going on with it to a degree, and greatly missed. Gary, turned to the rest of the circuit and Turfway. You got caught up along with New York and Philly yesterday, and Woodbine had the end of their season cut short on Sunday. But the way this is going to turn out with that fabulous synthetic championship card, the 4 stakes worth $1 million, and then the rest of the card, maidens and allowances, and with California waiting another week until the opening here at Santa Anita, and with New York, you guys have a terrific window on Sunday. The card should be huge.
Yeah, we a lot of thought went into that week. It was we watched the weather all week, and we sat around on Friday afternoon 3 different times and said, okay, this forecast is changing. This is looking good for us. 2 inches of snow. Cold weather comes in around 11. Perfect. We'll be done by then. And then we woke up on Saturday morning to 4 to 6 inches and single-digit temperatures starting at 8 o'clock, right in the middle of the card. And I know a lot of folks, well, why didn't you move it earlier? Well, there's implications to that with medication withdrawal times, and the veterinarian community, pushed back or raised their hand to say, these trainers are medicating 72 hours out, and you move the goalpost on them too far. That creates some challenges. So we tried to take all the information we had and make the best decision that we could. And to your point, we sort of surveyed the scene and quickly realized that next Sunday in the afternoon, very, very little action. And now I've recently seen that Tampa is taking Sunday off as well, so even less action. So we're going to get started at 3 p.m. on Sunday, the 21st. The entire card picks up and moves. We hope these races stay together. Obviously, a lot of guys were shipping in and making plans and things like that. We did confirm that moving to Sunday does allow Irad and Flavian and all those guys to come. There was concern if we moved it to another day that they'd have to miss. So that was important to the trainers that booked them for mounts. So all in all, we made the best decision we could, and I think Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. at Turfway, I hope we have a nice day.
3 till about 7:30, quarter of 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the stakes are later in the card, so if I'm timing it out right, in that sort of 5 to 7 o'clock window, I think we'll be the only thoroughbred track in the country running. Once Gulfstream and Oaklawn drop off at, in that 5 o'clock, 5:15 range. So we hope that pays dividends, and we'll see if we can salvage a nice day. It's important to all those horsemen and everyone to get those races in. So we're going to do the best we can with it.
Excellent. Well, we had done some capping, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll have another chance at it on Friday with Scully and the team, Tony Kalo, and really it worked out. Worked out to everybody's advantage. It's funny. I had Bob Hess yesterday, and while we were on the air Friday, he confirmed that he was sending Roll-On Big Joe to Hot Springs. So he said, interestingly, he got a call on when that decision came down. He got a call from the stewards in Kentucky and said, "Are you interested in? Are you going to potentially run next Sunday?" And he said no. He was going to give going to give Roll-On, but he had the potential maybe to capitalize on a very clever double.
There you go.
Pretty
Yeah,
funny.
so we're excited about it. Obviously, Turfway's off to a good start. It's I enjoy playing it. It's a fun product. You scratch your head, but I think I credit Jim Goodman for this tidbit. He tweeted the other day there was I guess it was opening Saturday. There was 107 different trainers with the horse in at Turfway Park.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at 2-year-old day at Churchill, and it was like 64. So, Turfway is still a little bit of a throwback meet. There's a lot of small time operations. There's a lot of horses that ship in from a lot of different places. There's the element of the synthetic. Some horses like it, some horses don't. And that's what leads to $10, $12, $20,000 pick fives and pick fours on the regular there. So it can be frustrating because some of these horses jump off the page, and you're like, how did this horse win this race? But it can be very fruitful and rewarding at the same time. So it's a fun product to play.
In addition, Fairgrounds, some early thoughts about a month in.
Yeah, off and running. So no rest for the weary down there. On Saturday the 20th is Gun Runner Day, so Oaks and Derby preps on tap. The first of 4 big days down there for the road to the Derby. Obviously, all throughout the card, every race is either a maiden special weight or an allowance race. 10, 12 horses in every race. The stakes came up competitive. No superstar standouts, just quality 2-year-olds looking to stamp their name on the leaderboard there. So I encourage folks to check out the Saturday card at Fairgrounds. The weather looks outstanding, plenty of turf races. And traditionally, every year we see some budding superstars show up on this day in December, and then kind of go on down the pathway on the road to the Derby down there. So kind of action starts to heat up there this weekend. A lot of the Kentucky trainers start to find the entry box after shipping down from Kentucky. So Fairgrounds will look to get off and running and on the 3-year-old series here this weekend.
Well, the Saturday card. I'm hoping to catch up with Marcus. I haven't had a chance to talk to Marcus Hirsch yet about the Fairground season. This is always one of his favorite days of the year. The Santa Super Saturday,
That's
which
it.
Marcus refuses to call it. Have we retired? Have we retired Santa Super Saturday?
I think it's a road to the Derby kickoff day or something now, but I did like Santa Super Saturday. Maybe I'll try to resurrect that for no other reason. Now that I know it aggravates Marcus, I'm here for that. So
right. I love it. And finally, Gary, because we're pretty much rolling down. We only got 3 or 4 shows left for the season. Final thoughts about the Ellis and Churchill seasons, and how strong really the Kentucky circuit with Kentucky Downs and Keeneland and your 3 track. It's really 364 days a year essentially, and we talked to a number of horsemen that have frankly dropped strings and brought strings to Kentucky. It just seems like everything is really robust.
Yeah, it's been great. I've had a great year, had a great couple of years. We have a very, very strong partnership with the horsemen, both on the HVPA side and the KTA side. And everyone is in lockstep from the legislature to the horsemen to the tracks to ensuring that Kentucky racing is the best it can be and the best in the country. And we put a lot of time and effort and thought into these race days and how the stakes calendar shakes out and lining everything up. Obviously, Ben Huffman, Dan Bork, Bailey Hare, professionals, Tyler at Turfway, Ben being at Churchill and Keeneland, he's able to line up the calendar very well so races don't conflict with each other, and that rolls right into Tyler at Turfway. So it's all one big circuit here. We all think about it as one circuit. So and the fruits of that labor have paid off. I think one thing a lot of folks that I appreciate that maybe not many do is there's been almost $1 billion of wagering handle added here in Kentucky in the last 8 years or so, and that's driving purse money too. It isn't all about HHR machines. That obviously helped kickstart the purses, but when you go from 500 million to 1.5 billion in wagering across the state, that's generating purse money too. So that constant review of the product at our place, at Keeneland, at Kentucky Downs, everyone's trying to elevate their game. Everyone's trying to put forth a racing product that the horsemen and the betting public can respond to, and that collaborative effort has led to a really strong program here. And no one here, at least at our place, is sitting around resting on our laurels. We know we got to keep getting better each year and keep tweaking things. The synthetic championship being a good example, that was added last year. I think we tripled handle on that Turfway night last year. So obviously we'll see how Sunday does, but just continuing to make sure we're doing the best we can. So and we appreciate your coverage. You're here a lot, and your listeners support us. So we're really just thankful for a great year and already planning for next year.
Gary Palmisano Jr., everybody, G-Pal, and best wishes to you. How old's the baby?
We got one that's 4 and one that's 1. So we are chasing kids left and right.
Well, it'll be that's old enough. Even the 1-year-old that's now old. The Christmas has got to start to get real, and that's
exactly.
fabulous. Yeah. Excellent, Gary. Thanks for everything. Thanks for a great season, and looking forward to Turfway on Sunday and Fairgrounds. In fact, Pat Devereaux is going to join us next. Fairgrounds on Saturday. For those that haven't looked ahead yet, really good card, and we'll catch up as well with McGoey. We'll get some Frank in probably Thursday to look at that card, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you in 2026.
Thank you, Steve. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary. Gary Palmisano Jr., everybody, who is really a valuable, just a valuable cog in the operation for CDI. He's got his entire life immersed. We talked about going to school. When as soon as Gary was old enough to talk, he was in school, learning from his dad on his dad's shed row. So an authentic horseman that it adds a perspective to Churchill's. I mean, this is an important, obviously, the colonial situation and the growth there, and the stability in Kentucky and Fairgrounds, the long running great tradition down there. And speaking of down there, Pat Devereaux joins us. Pat, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Hey, just got off with you. You had to have seen Palmisano grow up.
Once or twice. Yeah.
Right. This win on Saturday. Let me reach for the charts. This filly. This is a serious horse. It feels like, and just one off. 4 to 5, but just the way she did it, and you got to be very excited. 3 for 3 is probably the least known undefeated juvenile in the country. Talk about little Miss Curlin.
She's done nothing wrong. She's got a great temperament, and there's been nothing. Once we were able to really train her. She's just gone right on about her business, and she's pretty unassuming in the way she does things in the morning. She's always been able to run, and that was her best race the other day. But it should have been, really. It figured it should have been. So
third start of her career, and what has to be noted here. I mean, she's blown out the maiden win. She blew out the Ferguson at the start of the Fairgrounds meet, Thanksgiving, leading into Thanksgiving, opening moments of the season. 4 1/4 lengths, 5 lengths, and now 4 1/4 again, winning the Champions Day. Is got up to an 84 buyer. So in 3 starts, 50s or 60s, 70s, and 80s. This feels like more than just a nice Louisiana bred.
I hope you're right. we knew in the paddock, when I was talking to Jareth in the paddock, one thing we knew in the paddock was that she wasn't going to have to go in 21 and 3 or whatever like she did the second time out, and that was going to only help because she was outside of the speed, and so she settled so nice, and it's just went on about her business. She gives you a lot of confidence, I'll tell you that.
And I should note she brings it in the morning too, Pat. She fires nothing but bullets.
Yeah. The first time we ever asked her to run a little bit was at Evangeline, and it was kind of she made ripples on the pond in the center field. It's kind of scary in it, and so it's kind of she's just very generous, and we just kind of get out of her way. It's once she became really trainable. She started out, she was a little soft, and and we took our time. She made us wait, but once we gave her the green light, she's just done everything great.
Then let's talk about Coteau Grove, and obviously a homebred. They went to Charlatan with My Lady Curlin. So I mean, this was essentially cut out to be a nice horse for the Myers.
Yes.
Tell me about the dam. The dam sort of rings a bell.
I think she was a good mare herself. Kind of an interesting pedigree on her, as far as a lot of speed influences and a lot of starts, which I kind of like that. And I didn't have anything to do with them buying the mare. Andrew Carey buys all their mares and stuff, and I was just lucky enough to get back on board here this spring. They called me and sent 5 fillies to me this spring.
How nice! The good timing, and the mare. Yeah, the mare. The dam. Brad Cox had that dam for the Sather family, and was a homebred herself by Curlin. Made 800,000, and boy. Andrew struck at the right time. This foal was the mare was carrying the foal when they bought Milady Curlin at Fasig November in 22. Wow!
Everybody wanted a charlatan. Everybody wanted a charlatan right then. It was and that went on through till they sold his yearlings, and they've just been slow to come around.
Well, I talked about this the other day, actually. With as it gets later in the year, and with some age and growth time and experience, they're starting to rack up some wins, including some stake wins, including this filly is contributing.
It would have been easy to hurt this filly early on, though, if we were, if we were reckless. So she's good now.
Well, 2 things. Let's first. I want you to talk about the advantage of training a horse at Delta and then running them at Fairgrounds, because that surface at Delta will leg up a horse.
That's true. That's true. But she came here from Evangeline just dead tight. Maybe too much so. We backed off a little bit before we made her first start, because I find Evangeline a good place to train in the summer as well. And that's where I got these horses. That's where they sent these horses to me at Evangeline after I moved from. I was at the Fairgrounds last winter. So yeah, but we've had good success running horses from here at the Fairgrounds over the years.
Well, Little Miss Curlin, and now a two-time Louisiana bred stake winner, but as we've been sort of hinting, this is more than a nice Louisiana bred. The thing is, though, Pat, you've got countless, you got countless opportunities. It happened that we talked to Brett Calhoun yesterday too, with his juvenile winner, our money man, and actually we also talked to Jake, who might angle back to try touch upon a star again in the New Orleans Classic. But there's that, right? There's the premier night at Delta in February to consider.
Yeah, and that's around 2 turns, and I don't know how ready we're going to be to do that if we don't have to.
Well, that's interesting.
I like her sprinting. I don't think she's going to get faster going longer, but if we have to do it later, we'll do it. We don't have to do it right now.
Well, and that is because Charlatan, of course, son of Spitestown, and out of the Curlin mare, and she was a good middle distance type. So if you want to keep her sharp, well, you're taking the Brett Brinkman approach, right?
Well, it's right now I'm happy where she is, and look how much better she's gotten already. I mean, what's wrong with giving her a chance to get a little better? I don't think we've seen the best of her.
Well, 3 for 3. Little Miss Curlin, Pat Devereaux with us, and how about the rest of the string that you got from the Myers?
They're very well bred. Actually, they sent 5, and 3 of them have won, so that's good. I mean, very well bred. They had they didn't make the premier sales in the spring, and so they, thank goodness, they decided to run a few of them.
That's really nice. That's really nice for you.
It's great. I'm glad I was around here to take them.
Let me see that horse that you had one. I want to get to El Dinero too, by the way, who was second in the sprint.
Yeah.
But that top notch protocol.
I ran him the other night. He's been a little bit of a disappointment, but we're still trying to find out things. He's out of good mare I trained for them, named Little Miss Protocol, and but we also had Medaglia d'Oro filly that won here, and Quality Road filly that won here.
Wow, and that's one of the, that's one of the advantages of operating for with an outfit like Coto Grove.
It is.
For sure.
It's great
to have those kinds of quality covers.
Have a chance, yes.
Talk about El Dinero for a little bit, who is really a nice horse.
He's been great. He's been great to us. Yep. And just Go Sugar is in the way all the time, and he's I thought my horse had the best trip the other day. I mean, Jock rode a great race and had him lined up and couldn't beat that horse, and that's happened to us a couple times, and more than a couple times. And it hurts your feelings for a horse to try that hard and get beat. I mean, and he tries, and he's won a lot of money.
He's won just almost $500,000
showing up. Yeah, just showing up. He shows up. I love that horse.
That's John Tavamina?
Yes. Great guy. Generous owner with a generous horse. You can't beat that.
Boy, this horse, wow, this was a Pat, just in the last, I don't know, month, I've come across, as we do these conversations, I've come across so many Texas sale purchases that are stakes horses and were bought for ham sandwiches. $36,000 for this horse.
Yep. I trained his mother for Coteau Grove, as a matter of fact.
Oh, how funny is that?
Yeah. Yep.
Money for makeup.
Yep.
Well, this is the
sixth place.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is also the second forestry mare that's come up in 2 days.
That's not going to happen much anymore.
No, right? As Glennie Kane used to say, they're not making those anymore.
No. And she had all the suicidal tendencies of the forestries too.
Right, trying to.
Yep, and yeah, they were the quickest horses to try to turn a starting gate over. I'll tell you.
That's funny. Well, the nice thing about El Dinero is he wants to run. He's made 9 starts this year.
Yeah, he's sound. He's, he loves to do his work. I mean, he's just a wonderful horse. His flesh is better than ever, and he's a pro. I love that horse. He's been so good to me.
Well, and again, same thing. Plenty of opportunities in Louisiana bred company. You also, aren't afraid to run them in open spots, allowances, and the like. But mostly, he's taking advantage of, of keeping the Louisiana bred company.
You could say his last 5 races are the best 5 races he's run.
You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong from a fig standpoint, and he's going to be what, 6 on the first?
He's going to be 5.
5. Okay.
Yep.
Well, then, boy, you should have another terrific season with him.
I'm looking forward to it.
As long as Keith Bourgeois, as long as you maybe avoid him a little.
He gave us the summer off. But then we caught that horse that Alan Landry's ran a better number than any of them. He's just lucky. We ran against him at Shreveport, and what a freak he is.
Yeah, that was in the Cup, right? That was the Louisiana Cup.
Yeah. I was astonished. I mean,
well, he's knocking. He got his high in that in defeat. He had his career best. He had his career best figure on the buyer scale, 92, and he gets beat.
Yeah, they were 8 lengths in front of the field. A good field, they're 8 lengths in front of the field.
Amazing. Well, and then on Saturday too. 80 something had to be like an 87 buyer probably behind Go
probably.
Sugar.
He's that's his territory now. So if it's good enough, he'll get the money. If it's not, we catch something like that.
Well, it feels like you got a nice situation right now, Pat. A nice shed row, right?
Yes, sir. I do.
Well, normally
very pleased and proud.
Well, normally at this point, I ask about something that's in the entry box, but nothing. There's right now. You're clean. You've got nothing that's about to run.
I had 8 horses in, and 4 of them were. I have 8 horses in the barn, and 4 of them were in on Saturday.
So you got to wait till they come around again.
I got a couple could run before the end of the year, but it's not for sure. Races have to go.
Well, then let me ask about something that's going to swing back around. That Midnight Passion that won in November.
Yep, she was in Saturday, and I had to scratch her. She grabbed a quarter, playing coming off the racetrack, and it's just enough not to be able to run. I made 5 trainers really happy when I scratched her.
That's too bad. So you're just going to wait early January, maybe.
Probably whenever that race comes back up. She's nice. She's kind of hot-blooded, big old filly, and she's not a ballerina yet. I mean, she was playing coming off the racetrack, and like I say, she got on herself, and we had to do a little work on that. She's fine now, though.
That's the Quality Road that you referenced out of a Midnight Loot mare.
Yep. Good mare.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, keep an eye for
filly.
Midnight Passion.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, she'll run all day, I believe. So that'll help. That would be a compliment to the other filly.
You're small but mighty right now, Pat. With
right now,
right
now. Enjoy it while we can. When you're small, you can't afford to get injuries. I mean,
yeah, it's true. That's very true. But you're looking to add, or are you happy with putting your hands on all 8 every day?
I'm good with the exodus of help right now. It's probably as many as I need right now, because I can't do as much work as I used to be able to myself. I try, but it's just not there. That's
a fair point. It's a fair point.
Yep.
Well, clearly you got good ones. That's that makes it easier to
it does.
To come in the morning.
It does. I'm tickled.
Well, Pat, it's good to connect. I thought that filly was Little Miss Curlin was really exciting, and obviously her and more going on. So it feels like it's going to be a very good winter in Louisiana for the Devereaux Barn. Merry Christmas, happy, healthy for 26.
Merry Christmas, and thank you very much, and thanks for taking notice.
Not at all. Pat Devereaux, everybody, who long successful career. Just he wins, and you can see you put these kinds of horses in his hands, and he delivers. 3 for 3. Little Miss Curlin. Coming up on the top of the hour, we're at Santa Anita. I'm going to be joined by Mig in a couple of minutes. Let me take this little window. By the way, gorgeous morning here, and we did not have to deal with the fog today. Just crisp and gorgeous. A little quieter on the here on the Clockers Corner front. A little more active yesterday. I know a lot of guys went down. I know, not seeing Glatt. He said, if you don't see me, I'm at San Luis Rey. We're going to go to San Luis Rey in a little bit. We'll talk to Petey Miller. Take the opportunity to update from last night. Rich Eng, not to be outdone by Dave Hill. I was thinking about it this morning again. I am immensely proud of the 3 pro sports, specifically football opinions that the show is delivering to you, between Craig Dato and the Sports Injury Central, and Rich Eng and Dave Hill. Dave 5-0 over Thursday to Sunday. Rich Eng closed out both college wins and both pro wins, 4-0. Craig was 1-2 this week, which I can't remember. I don't think, in fact, now I'm thinking about it, I don't think they had in the specific. I don't think they had a under 500 the whole season, and I didn't see the rest of their picks for the weekend, but I mean they've been fabulous too. So over 60, hitting it over 60%, but that is some weekend of football opinions. 10-2. So and the nice thing is, I know people. There's not a ton of commentary on Twitter, but the emails I get, and when we were off for Thanksgiving, I texts and emails. How are we going to get? How are we going to get Dave Hill this week? How are we going to get Rich? What about sports injury? I guess the same will be true over Christmas and New Year's. So we will continue to put them on the website and put them on social media as well. But congrats to Dave and Rich, particularly 9-0 between the two of them. Just amazing. And I'm sure that that Hammer this morning is pleased with his Steelers after last night. I fell asleep. I mean, the game was, you could see the game was in hand. I must have fallen asleep late in the third quarter, but it didn't seem like there was going to be much of a, it would have been a bit of a shock if they had come back. But so I thought I didn't tally it and put a graphic up about the win, but I knew it was over. Migliore came out here, and it's always fun when we talk to Rich, near the end of his career. Although I don't think, he didn't necessarily know at the time that it was near the end. Brian, here, I'll he might be out in the barn. Let him know. All right. Yeah, I let him know. So that's one thing that we'll see who else, because in terms of the colony, here, because there's a fair amount of movement that's gone on, with having Luis Saez and Joel Rosario at Oaklawn, for instance, the Ortizes, Jose, back at Fairgrounds again, and they're as the winter. I mean, we're pretty much, once Santa Anita starts, be interesting. I also saw even some of the rank and file riders. I saw that Lane Luzzy was coming back to Sam Houston, right? I think I saw that he's going to ride at Sam Houston, for instance. Kind of as he was establishing himself. Right? Is that what that's something I could ask Nick. But I'm pretty sure that that's what I saw. I think he might have tweeted that. Anyway, there's going to be no shortage of movement as the winter really starts to get rolling. By the way, the one thing I was kind of saving, because I haven't reached out to Patrick Biancone. I did reach out for Brad Cox, but the two winners of the Tropical Park Stakes at Gulfstream on Saturday, that Destino Doro corralled and one more time in the final couple of jumps. And honestly, for as many people as we saw tabbing Destino Doro, 4-1 was all right. Paid $960. I was trying to get more prices involved. That was sort of a fool's errand, really, in the final analysis. And you could see Zayas was ranging up. At first I thought Castellano may have moved a little early on, and one more time, but she just got outrun. Destino Doro just, the chart margin was ahead, but honestly, she won even nicer than that, with more. Yeah, I mean, that Ramsey Pond was okay third. The disappointment of the Live Oak courses, Mischief in Motion never lifted a hoof. Super Willowa Chase, she was okay. And then in the boys' race, the nightcap layabout, we pretty much all we all piled on layabout. I didn't buy into Destino Doro, but I did buy into layabout, and a little over 5-2, paid $740. Barkley with the Saratoga runner, Tiz Dashing ran well at 9-2 to be second. So actually, Castellano, I just realized, second in both of those stakes. Rich Migliori is with us. Mig, good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. Clocker's Corner.
Nice. I could think of worse places to be.
For sure. And I look up at the foothills and think about you hiking up. How high up do you get when you used to hike up those?
Gosh, I don't know the exact elevation. I mean, we hiked to, the top of Mount Wilson. I guess I could look it up, but I don't really know. And then, if you take Santa Anita Avenue straight up in your car, you run right into the mountain. And there's a single lane road either way. Heads up 3 miles to Chantry Flats, where, there's a ranger station and you get a day pass or, parking pass. And then there's all kinds of hikes from there, Sturtevant Falls up to Mount Wilson, really some really beautiful, beautiful hikes